I'm Kevin Davis, and this is the Catholic Family Podcast. And well, today I'm just kind of covering what's in the news. We're still not sure what the segment's going to be called. I'm not even sure if we're going to run with it, but we're going to give it a shot and do kind of a Tim Pool style video. I don't know if everyone knows who Tim Pool is. Pretty much he's a guy, he's a skater boy with a beanie who covers the news. But obviously with a different twist, obviously with my own opinions, and of course coming from a more Catholic perspective than his libertarian agnostic perspective. So hopefully having a bit of a different outlook. And as everyone knows, I'm no expert. I'm no moral authority. This is just my opinion on the subject. And today we're going to talk about, well, what's been happening in Saudi Arabia. It's pretty interesting. So a huge storm over the last, few days now has been hitting Saudi Arabia. And actually, for the last few weeks, it's interesting. Before this big storm hit, I'd actually just read something that said in the Middle East, many of the ancient holy places are being turned green. They're actually they're almost oases out in the desert or wherever these places are. And that's obviously unusual. Hasn't happened in hundreds or thousands of years. And there are a lot of people saying, well, this is the end times, and there are prophecies that foretell this will happen. I'm certainly not saying that's what the case, but I think it is worthy of a conversation because it is pretty unusual. It is Saudi Arabia, and they're getting absolutely dumped on with rain. So we're going to take this story from Al Jazeera. Now, Al Jazeera is certainly not, my go-to for news, but, maybe that's the point. And so that the title, did cloud seeding cause Dubai floods? Why experts say no. And I think I imagine a lot of people saying cloud seeding. What on earth is that? It sounds like a conspiracy theory, mumbo jumbo. Well, actually it exists. This is one of the interesting things I wanted to talk about. So pretty much it starts saying there's been a lot of rain, killed at least 20 people. Of course, that's tragic. In the UAE and Oman. And it says what happened in UAE and Oman. Again, this is Al Jazeera. The storm had initially hit Oman on Sunday before it pounded the UAE on Tuesday, knocking out power and causing flight disruptions. The deluge inundated houses, caused traffic chaos, and trapped people in their homes in Dubai. Skipping a little bit. This hasn't happened, or this is the biggest event since 1949. By the end of Tuesday, more than 142 millimeters or 5.59 inches had soaked Dubai. This is crazy. 5.59 inches in a day. Close to 5 inches of rain fell in Dubai International Airport, where 3 inches of rain is normal in an entire year. So in one day at this airport, they got almost double the amount they usually have of rain. That just one of these really bizarre issues. So no question this is an unusual event, because obviously if you're doubling the normal rain amount in a day for the entire year, something is going on. And they kind of continue saying this is happening across the country. And yeah, so they say again, why is this? Why are people saying, this could have been, cloud seeding? What is cloud seeding? Reports quoted, again, this is Al Jazeera, quoted meteorologists at the UAE's National Center for Meteorology as saying Dubai flew 6 or 7 cloud seeding flights before the rain started. Flight tracking data analyzed by the Associated Press news agency also showed one aircraft affiliated cloud seeding efforts flew around the country on Monday. Cloud seeding was initiated in the 1990s, blah, 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 blah. And this is kind of funny. According to reports, the NCM on Wednesday said that seeding took place on Sunday and Monday and not on Tuesday. Well, in that case, then, of course, we cloud seeded, but we didn't cloud seed on the day where it actually rained. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They said they did not conduct any seeding operations during this event. One of the basic principles of cloud seeding is that you have to target clouds in its early stage before it rains. If you have a severe thunderstorm situation, then it is too late to conduct any seeding operation, he added. So, okay, let's leave this for a second. This entire article is pretty much, we're going to get to it. They're pretty much going to blame this all on global warming, which I imagine everyone watching this is not surprised of at this point. That's of course what they're going to blame it on. And they're going to be like, well, of course it's not cloud seeding. Yeah, we cloud seeded. We just did it on different days. I mean, come on, we didn't do that much. We only did 6 or 7 flights. I mean, and then they're like, "Well, we didn't." You can only cloud seed when there's an actual cloud, and these things happen. Oh, but by the way, it's definitely global warming. It's unbelievable. As you read through this article, it's incredible. They're kind of like fighting 3 fights at once. They're saying, okay, it's definitely not cloud seeding. Oh, by the way, this happens fairly often. Oh, and by the way, it's also definitely global warming. And it just shows you, first of all, something really unusual has happened, as we saw. Again, this is almost double the amount in a year, and that happened in a day. So, okay, unusual? Yes. And they're also trying to push the agenda of global warming for whatever reason. Al Jazeera must be being paid by somebody. Experts say, yeah, which experts? Yeah, let's hear, which experts exactly are, involved in this study. And it's just one of these bizarre issues that they can't just say, yeah, we had a big storm. Maybe it was going to be a big storm anyway, and then we cloud seeded. Whoops. Yeah, maybe we accidentally turned this into something we didn't mean to. No, of course they can't say that. Well, it's global warming, and we cloud seeded the day before. Yeah, come on. As they continue here, Al Jazeera, one of the basic principles of cloud seeding is that you have to target clouds in its early stage before it rains. If you have a severe thunderstorm situation, then it is too late to conduct any seeding operation. Okay, are you saying that that's not what happened here? I guess, apparently. Rainfall is rare in the United Arab Emirates and elsewhere in the Arabian Peninsula, which is typically known for its dry desert climate. Yeah. Summer air temperatures can soar above 50 degrees Celsius. The UAE and Oman also lack drainage systems to cope with heavy rain. Well, it makes sense. In desert, you probably don't have that much preparation for, big rains. Now, here we go. Of course, did climate change cause a torrential rainfall? Now, this is where we get serious, guys. Now, let's pay attention. This is the experts. The experts are telling us now what actually happened. Experts and officials have debunked the speculations that cloud seeding caused the rainfall. Well, thank you, experts. Quote, if that occurred with cloud seeding, they'd have water all the time. You can't create rain out of thin air, per se, and get 6 inches of water, said Ryan Maui, former chief scientist at the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Interesting. Why is it that they have a U.S. guy commenting on this? I mean, Al Jazeera is I think it's Israeli, right? I don't know. It's kind of I think it's kind of an interesting thing that they have this guy commenting on this. And they continue, the deluge was likely due to a normal weather system that was exacerbated by climate change. Exacerbated by climate change. Or perhaps it was a normal weather system that was exacerbated by cloud seeding, which you admit to. Maybe just, that possible. I mean, it's just this incredible thing that they're like, yeah, we did cloud seeding. We admit it, but no, it's normal. No, it's not normal. It's not normal. It's climate change. Wait. Anyway, back to the Al Jazeera. Global warming has resulted in extraordinarily warm water in the seas around Dubai. I don't see any studies for that. Thanks, guys. Where there is also very warm air above, said Mark Howden, director at the Australian National University's Institute for Climate, Energy, and Disaster Solutions. So far, we've heard from experts from America and Australia regarding the climate in Saudi Arabia. I don't know, I just find that interesting. This increases both potential evaporation rates and the capacity of the atmosphere to hold that water, allowing bigger dumps of rainfall, such as what we have just seen in Dubai, unquote. Okay, that makes sense. According to reports, the intense downpours were a result of a slow-moving storm that moved across the Arabian Peninsula and into the Gulf of Oman over several days. The storm transported abundant tropical moisture from near the region. Huge tropical storms, they're not rare events for the Middle East. That's interesting since the average rainfall in this place is 3 inches and they got 5 inches in a day. 3 inches in a year, they got 5 inches in a day. That's not unusual. Anyway, yeah, that's according to the University of Reading, actually, I think meteorology professor Susan Gray. Again, Reading, isn't that America? She cited a recent study analyzing nearly 100 such events over the southern Arabian Peninsula from 2000 to 2020, with the most in March and April, including March 2016 storm that dropped 9.4 inches, almost 240 millimeters on Dubai in just a few hours. So, yeah, okay, great, 2016. So this happens once every 8 years. That's certainly not normal. They say are not rare, and you're citing something that happened 8 years ago. Okay, yeah, interesting. Um, yeah, blah 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 blah. Rainfall from thunderstorms, quote, like the one seen in the UAE in recent days, sees a particular strong increase with warming. This is because convection, which is the strong updraft in thunderstorms, strengthens in a warmer world, unquote, said Dim Komu, a professor in climate extremes at the University of Amsterdam, or Rige, whatever it's called. Again, Amsterdam. Why are we not hearing? Am I crazy here? Why, this is Al Jazeera. So this isn't Fox News. If it's Fox News and they're just quoting people from America, okay. This is Al Jazeera. I'm sorry, I should have researched this, but I think that they're certainly based in the Middle East somewhere. I think Israel. So someone tell me if I'm wrong. Apologies. I'm ignorant about Al Jazeera. They're not American. And so far they've quoted sources from America, Australia, and Amsterdam. Why do we have no sources from, let's see, Saudi Arabia? Maybe. Yeah, I mean, maybe someone who actually lives there. Pretty interesting. I think that's so that the sources, your experts, well, I'm an American professor, and I say that global warming has caused blah 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 blah. Based on what? Based on what? They're saying that all these things are warming. They always say these things. Experts say. Well, where's your study, bro? Is it peer reviewed? Doubt it. I highly, highly doubt it. It's a farce. It's one of these things that I don't know where the storm came from. Perhaps it's just, maybe it's an act of God. Maybe it is Mother Nature. Maybe it's something that happens once every 10 years. I think that's definitely possible. I'm not saying this had to have come from cloud seeding, but it's interesting that they admit to cloud seeding like right before, several times, and then say, well, there's no way it's cloud seeding. There is a way, right? I mean, it's at least possible. Cloud seeding is a type, again, back to Al Jazeera, cloud seeding is a type of weather modification process that normally tries to increase the rain or snow. Cloud droplets don't form spontaneously. For moisture to condense, it needs a surface to cling to. Within a cloud, there are tiny particles in the air called condensation nuclei, which provide a base for moisture to attach to. They're not, sorry, again, commentary from me. They're not saying that this didn't happen. They're just saying, well, in order to see clouds, you have to actually have a cloud. And well, yeah. Okay. Are you saying that they didn't have clouds over Saudi Arabia when they seeded them? I haven't seen that. Has someone said that? I haven't seen that. This just shows you how the media acts. Like, well, if in order to do this, you have to. Well, okay. Are you just saying that they didn't have clouds? I haven't seen that. No one has said there weren't clouds above Saudi Arabia when they seeded them. So again, it's you're just trying to argue something that doesn't really exist. And then it goes on to say that cloud seeding has existed since 1990. Colorado River, China, Beijing, India, Malaysia, and a whole bunch of other places trying to do it because they're trying to create moisture in order to have the ability to grow things. Which I think I understand, but I think it's also one of those lessons that we have. And I think this is kind of my overall point. And I think the first point being that media is ridiculous. So you can't trust anything they say. They try to lie and manipulate everything. I mean, you just look at this article. I mean, what are their sources? They're not even from Saudi Arabia. I mean, all their sources are from America, Australia, etc. They're probably sources that have commented on something in the past that are not actually based on this actual event. They're saying that this happens all the time, and the last time was in 8 years ago. So again, that's the first lesson: is that you can't trust these people. You can't trust them. They're just their entire agenda is to tell their agenda. It's not to actually tell the truth. Which, boy, do we learn more and more every day. But I think the biggest thing, if this is cloud seeding, I don't know if it was, but certainly they were cloud seeding. They admit that. They sent up 7 flights. Again, this is an official thing. They admit it, though they say, oh, it didn't actually affect it based on something. But if you mess with nature, and this actually goes with a lot of things, if you dump plastic in the ocean, I agree with that. You're going to pay for it. If you mess with what God has in store, what is the plan for the earth and what God is doing with it in so many different cases. If you start messing with foodstuffs, you start geoengineering. And if you start saying, hey, we're going to create storms where they shouldn't exist, you'll pay for it. You will pay for it. It is that pride. It's that humanism. It's that modernism. They can't get over themselves. They think that we are better than God. We can get past nature, which is God, obviously. Yeah, evolution. Well, the world's been around for 1 billion years because apes and bull. No, God created what we have. God manages what we have. And I'm not saying we shouldn't try. I think I'm not saying cloud seeding is immoral. In some places, it's good to try to create, moisture. I think I'm not against that. But what we have to realize, if you mess with it, if you push this button, if you open Pandora's box of messing with nature, there's always a comeuppance. And as we see here, maybe they've cloud seeded for years and years, since 1990. And usually it's been fine. But this time, you cloud seeded the wrong storm, bro. And now you've got death and flooding and billions of dollars gone. Because you knew better. We don't. Again, I'm not saying that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to feed starving people, to maybe even seed clouds. I'm no moral authority. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying, let's just remember, if you mess with this, something will come from it. And it's in all things with nature. If you create a pill that blocks, a headache, that blocks the pain receptors, that shows your body that you have a headache, something will come from it. There's a comeuppance. It's just how it goes. And I mean, I think that's the humility we need to have. Doesn't mean you don't do it. I'm not saying that. I've taken painkillers. Maybe I shouldn't, but I have. But I think that the issue is when we just think we can do whatever we want. Primarily because many people don't think God exists. And they think there will be no comeuppance. There is always a comeuppance. So seed those clouds at your own risk. I'm Kevin Davis, Catholic Family Podcast.